I need somebody to explain to me how walking across a border is suddenly a capital offense, but murdering fishermen in another country is just another Tuesday. Because the math ain't mathing. They want you scared of a mother crossing the Rio Grande with her kids, but real quiet about armed federal agents executing people in foreign waters without trial, without charges, without so much as a phone call to their government. One's a civil paperwork issue, the other's a literal war crime. But somehow we're supposed to believe the real threat to America is the lady selling tamales outside the Home Depot. Welcome to Are You Fucking Kidding Me? Good evening, good people, and good luck to anybody easily offended. Because this is AYFKM, and I'm your host, Victoria Sharp, the woman who says the quiet part loud and the loud part louder. Tonight we're talking about America's favorite pastime, pretending to care about law and order while only enforcing it on black and brown bodies. We're going to break down what the law actually says, what this administration is actually doing, and why the same people screaming "build the wall" are suddenly mute when it comes to international assassinations. So buckle up, get your fact-checkers ready. And if you're one of those people who likes to yell, "but they broke the law" in comment sections, I've got some bad news for you. You don't actually know what the law is. Let's start with the basics, because apparently we need a civics lesson. Being undocumented is not a crime in the way MAGA loves to scream about. It is a civil violation, like a parking ticket, like an expired license. You don't get jail time, you get paperwork, you get a hearing, you get due process. Illegal is not a legal status. It's a political slur. It's propaganda designed to make you think someone crossing a border without papers is the same as a murderer or a thief. It's not. And they know it's not. But civil violator doesn't get the base fired up, does it? Undocumented immigrant doesn't trigger the fear response they need to win elections. So they say illegal over and over until you forget that words have meanings and laws have categories. Let me be clear. No human being is illegal. Actions can be unlawful, people cannot. Now let's talk about what the law actually says, since we're suddenly all so concerned about legality. Under Title 8 of the U.S. Code, that's immigration law for those keeping score at home. Unlawful presence in the U.S. civil violation. Visa overstay civil violation. Entry without inspection equals misdemeanor. Same level as disorderly conduct or trespassing. Seeking asylum's completely legal under both U.S. and international law. Deportation proceedings equals administrative, not criminal court. The thing they're screaming about, the thing they want to militarize the border over, the thing they're separating children over, not a crime. Not in the way they're selling it, not in the way that justifies the hysteria. Now, does that mean there are no consequences? No. You can still be deported, you can still be detained, but it is not a criminal offense in most cases. You don't get a criminal record. You don't go to prison. Unless, of course, you're brown. Then suddenly every rule gets bent, every protection gets ignored, and due process becomes a suggestion. But here's where it gets spicy. While this administration is busy demonizing migrants for civil violations, they just went ahead and committed an actual war crime. I'm talking about the reports that U.S. federal agents, working under this administration's orders, performed unauthorized, extrajudicial killings in Venezuelan territorial waters. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Extrajudicial killings in another country's waters. That means no trial, no arrest, no charges, no due process, just execution. And it wasn't on a battlefield. These weren't enemy combatants. These were Venezuelan fishermen. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I know some. And they'll tell you this is a violation of international sovereignty, the Geneva Conventions, human rights law, the UN Charter. In plain English, war crime. And before anyone tries the "but they were criminals" defense, even if they were, you can't just kill people in foreign waters without permission from that country. That's not how any of this works. That's literally what we accuse dictators of doing. But I haven't seen a single back the blue bumper sticker crowd lose their minds over this. Weird, right? So let's do a quick side-by-side, shall we? On the left, a Honduran woman crosses the border seeking asylum from gang violence. She turns herself in to Border Patrol as required by law. She's detained, separated from her children, held in a cage, and labeled a criminal by half the country. On the right, armed U.S. agents gun down foreign nationals in Venezuelan waters without authorization, without trial, without even informing the Venezuelan government first. The response? To the woman? Outrage, threats, calls for mass deportation. They're invading us. They're breaking the law. To the agents? Silence. Justifications? Well, they were probably bad guys. We have to protect our borders. Crossing a border without papers? MAGA meltdown. Killing Venezuelan fishermen in their own waters? Crickets. Y'all see it, right? Please tell me y'all see it. Here's what they won't say out loud, but I will. They don't care about law or crime. They care about race control and power. If the victim is black or brown, the outrage evaporates. If the victim is foreign, poor, or doesn't speak English, suddenly due process is optional. They'll scream law and order until they're red in the face when it's a migrant family at the border. But when it's their government committing international crimes, suddenly it's all, well, we don't know the full story, and we have to be tough. Tough on who? Brown people seeking safety, or actual violent state actions? Because from where I'm sitting, they're only tough on the ones who can't fight back. This isn't about legality. If it were, they'd be leading the charge to investigate extrajudicial killings in foreign waters. They'd be demanding accountability. They'd be invoking the same rule of law they love to weaponize against migrants. But they're not, because it was never about the law. It was always about who gets punished and who gets protected. Let's lay out the receipts, because I know someone's going to try me in the comments. Civil immigration violations. Not criminal offenses in most cases. Subject to administrative proceedings. Deportation is not a criminal penalty. International extrajudicial killings. Violation of sovereignty. Violation of international law. Literal definition of a war crime. Who's being punished? Brown migrants detained, deported, separated from children. Brown foreign nationals killed without trial or due process. Who's being protected? White comfort. The illusion that this country cares about justice. If you can look at this and still say the problem is the migrants, I need you to ask yourself one question. Why? Why does a civil paperwork issue make you angrier than state-sanctioned killings? And be honest with yourself about the answer. If you're angrier at migrants committing a civil infraction than you are at a government committing international extrajudicial killings. If you think a mother crossing the border with her kids is a bigger threat than federal agents executing people in foreign waters, if you can justify war crimes but not asylum applications, then the issue isn't legality. It's your racism showing. And no flag pin, no Bible verse, no law and order slogan is going to cover that up. This has been AYFKM. I'm Victoria Sharp. Check who they're punishing. Check who they're protecting. And then decide whether they're full of shit. Spoiler alert, they are. Good night.